Hi, this is Chris with this week's Tech Tuesday video on Flipgrid. What it is, what it does, what it can do. And yes, you can get a badge for using it. So let's talk a little bit about what it is. Flipgrid calls itself a place where social learning happens. What does that mean? It means that in this one place you can pose a question and your students can respond in a video. They can then respond to each other, thus the social learning. Flipgrid is completely free. Students can use Flipgrid on laptops and Chromebooks with internet access and a webcam, or on iPad or Android tablets that have the app installed. Before you begin, first, as an educator, you have to create an account. Click on the button to sign up. We here in San Marcos are a Google district, so you can click to sign up with Google. You will then have to fill in some information about yourself, such as your name, etc. From there, and future visits, all you have to do is click to log in. So now what it does. First, create a grid to facilitate your discussions. You can use your grids to organize your discussions by class period, such as first, second, third, etc., or by subject, math, language arts, science, etc., or any other way you choose. Inside the grid, you post topics. These are your discussion questions. Let's create a new grid. First, choose what type of community will be accessing your grid. Students in your domain, a certain and specific set of students, or open to the public. We're going to keep this one in the school domain. Second, identify your grid. Give it a name. You can create a custom flip code or URL, or you can accept the default of random characters. I want this one to be easy to remember. Third, further personalize your grid with an image. You can select one from the featured images, images of nature, people, textures, or you can upload your own. If you chose the option to allow access via domain, you must add the domains that are allowed to access your grid. Here in San Marcos, you want to be sure to add the domain for student emails at gae.smcisd.net. You may also wish to add our teacher or adult domain at smcisd.net, especially if you're going to include teachers on the grid. From there, you can further customize or edit your grid. You can change your community type, you can add additional domains, you can also modify the notifications, followers, the status of your grid, whether or not to allow downloads or to include captions. You can also change the image. So now that your grid is set, it's time to add a topic. Let's give it a name. I'm going to call this one, How Have You Used Flipgrid in Class? And space is limited there, so pardon the missing punctuation mark at the end. The other detail you're required to enter is the description for your topic. Once you've added those two required areas, click on Create Topic, and that's it. You can share your grid as is, or go back and add additional modifications. You can modify the response time, anywhere from 15 seconds to 5 minutes. You can adjust the display date. This is where you can also choose to modify the topic privacy, if you want to moderate the video posts or not. You can adjust the state of the topic, whether it's active or not. You can set launch and freeze dates as well. You can provide an optional topic resource. This will give visual identification to your topic and possibly give you a way to provide your own answer to the topic or an exemplar. You can also attach up to 9 links to external resources, such as a Google Doc or a YouTube video. The video features section is where you get to allow a bit of whimsy. Students or participants can decorate their selfies with stickers and/or drawings, or not if they get too crazy, and with the video reactions. You can allow or disallow students to reply to each other. Depending on the age or role of your discussion participants and the type of discussion, you may restrict access accordingly. The last section allows you to modify how you want to provide feedback. You can either use the basic feedback in 2 areas or custom feedback in which you design a rubric and provide participants the criteria upon which you'll be rating them. Be sure to click Update Topic when you're finished. As far as sharing your topic, if you click on Share, you get the option to copy the link or display the QR code. You can also share it to Google Classroom, post it to Remind, or copy the embed code to embed it somewhere else. You have the option to add topic guests. When you click on this, if you toggle on guest mode, then just like it says, anyone with the guest code can view videos in this topic. You can also choose to allow or disallow them to participate by allowing them to record their own response. When students respond to topics, everyone in the grid can see the responses show in a grid-like display. Let's take a look at the student view, which you can preview by clicking on the flip code. You will have to sign back in. Microsoft has brought its immersive reader into the Flipgrid experience, which means that students who benefit from its use can take advantage for the topic title and description.
How have you used Flipgrid in class? How have you used Flipgrid in your classroom? What have you learned?
To get back to the topic, click on the back button and click on the big green button to start your recording. You do have options to modify the aspect ratio depending on what device you're using. You can choose to include audio or not. This is where you would import video if you have a video file somewhere else. So now here's the great part. You start the recording. Your students can be as creative as they want to be. They can use stickers to add talking points for themselves. You can redo as many times as needed. So you do the recording, then you do the reviewing, where you can do additional trimming from the beginning or the end. If allowed, you can also add a title or an attachment. The last step is to take a selfie. You can either take a picture, select a frame from the recording, or import an image from elsewhere. Once you've selected your image, you can decorate it with emoji or other stickers, quite a variety to choose from. Hide your face, don't hide your face. Decorate yourself or not, it's up to you. You can have a lot of fun with this part. When you're done, hit submit, your video uploads, you get a little celebration, and then you get returned to the grid. Now what it can do. This is a resource provided by Flipgrid about different examples at different grade levels. Additional resources live on the Flipgrid website. If you go to the main website and click on resources, the Educator Guide is a really great resource. It's a PDF document that explains in step-by-step detail how to set up your Flipgrid account and various ways that you can use it. A resource that I thought was really helpful was these guides for students on page 22. You can see the instructions in a long version as well as a short version, and at the bottom there's a link to where you can find the full PDFs for these instructions. Back on the resources page, there is a link to a library of integration docs, which are organized by content area and grade level. And then you've also got Grid Tip Party. This blog post has a collection of topics that have trended in various social media areas and different use case scenarios as well. There is a large social media community on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even get certified, become an ambassador, a rock star, or explore other learning adventures. On the home page of the blog, you can see some of the latest posts, one of which includes how to empower English language learners with Flipgrid. Once you're logged in, some of the other options available to you are mixtapes, which allows you to collect highlights from responses and put them all together. There's also the Disco Library, which contains templates of different topics that people have created, which you can search by audience or subject, goal, or general search term. And Grid Pals is a way to connect with other people using Flipgrid across the globe. One last thing that you and your students might find really useful is a website associated with Flipgrid called my.flipgrid.com. This is where you or your students can see all of the grids that you have contributed to or visited. At the top, you'll see the grids that you have visited or joined, and then below that, you'll see any videos that you have shared. And from here, you can download a video, download the selfie, or hide the video. However, any video that you have contributed to someone else's grid, only the grid owner can delete. So now let's talk badges. How do you earn a badge for Flipgrid? First of all, this is a level 2 badge, and for evidence requirements, you do have to submit a link. If there's a password required, add a password and describe how this tool impacted your students' learning environment. Have fun with Flipgrid, and thanks for watching.